Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm VR Stuntman and this is round 11 of 12 of the GT300 Championship at vrroom.org, and we have once again Breaker on pole. But before we go through that, we'll have a quick look at the track, and as you can see, we're using the full Grand Prix track at the Nürburgring, and quite a lot of corners on here. A few overtaking opportunities, particularly into turn 1 Castrol and turn 14 the Vidal chicane. We're using that layout of track, except I think the Vidal chicane we're using the tighter part of that's sort of greyed out. Very few other overtaking opportunities unless the car in front makes a mistake, but there are opportunities to pass around this track, and it often produces great racing. So we'll get back to the action and go through the grid. And as you can see, once again, Scale Breaker dominates qualifying with yet another pole position in his Arta Garaya. Next up, we have Stuntman again joining him on the front row. Third on the grid is Malada. He's proving to be one of the fastest drivers in this championship. Fourth on the grid, excellent qualifying performance there from Rick GT5 with his Toyota Celica. Then fifth we have Hatcher. Good qualifying by him. He's new to the Celica. Hatcher's shown speed from time to time in this league, but hasn't managed to translate that into a strong race performance throughout a whole race. Next up, Scouser with his Celica in 6th on the grid. Then in 7th we have Jezza. Slightly disappointing qualifying from Jezza. He was right up there in the previous race, but maybe he'll come through the field. Then towards the back, 8th we have Slicker in his Celica, and at the back N10, but I think he set a competitive time in qualifying, but decided to go back to the garage and tinker with his car. So same 9 cars as we had in the previous race, so we'll get on with that race. And this is going to be on board with Rick. Typical slow start from Rick, but he manages to get in the tow there. Just about in the tow as they run down to the first corner. Whoa, brakes a bit early, and that's someone braking really late. That's Hatcher. Oh, and someone on the inside, that's N10. Another hit from behind, and it's all gone horribly wrong for Rick. He's gone from 4th down to 8th. Oh, and there's someone else coming through. Scouser's coming through. So Rick elbowed off the track, and he goes from 4th on the grid to 9th. So disaster for him. And we've got a change of leader. So let's just rewind and see if we can see that from the point of view of the leading cars. Slightly premature start, I think, there from Stuntman, but doesn't seem to affect him too badly. So it's into the first corner, and it's Breaker on the inside, Stunt on the outside, and that's all the way around the outside. Stunt trying to go all the way around the outside, but it puts him on the inside for the Mercedes Arena. And Breaker is coming back, but there's another left-hander coming up. Can Breaker go all the way around the outside? No, he can't, so Stunt takes the lead. So this is looking back from Stunt up to 3rd after that great start. Hatcher, very, very brave on the brakes. Through the S-curves here, and very, very wobbly there from Hatcher, and that's allowing Stunt and Breaker to pull away. So we've got the 2 red and white Autobax cars in the lead, then the 3 Mazda RX-7s, Amamaya RX-7s, and then the 4 Celicas bringing up the rear. And Breaker is all over Stuntman here. Just waiting for an opportunity to pass, probably being held up through the turns. No move on there. The stuntman a little wide, he's probably spending too much time looking in his mirrors. And still Hatcher very sideways with that Mazda. And that's probably going to make him vulnerable to the other Mazdas, but Breaker is on the attack. Let's go to the outside view. And it's Breaker on the inside and later on the brakes, and job done. Breaker back in front, very close between the Mazdas. Let's have a quick look at them. This is Hatcher just ahead of Malada and Jezza. So good start from Jezza, up from 7th to 5th. Let's have a look at the leaders though, because Stunt has got the run on the straight. And who's going to be latest on the brakes? It's Stunt. Locking up, but making the apex. So Stunt takes the lead. Oh, and we got a spinner. And Hatcher it was who spun. He was looking tail happy. Let's we're going to ride on board with N10, I think, and see if we can see what happened there. So this is the overhead shot of N10. You can see Scouser on the inside, and yeah, it was a spin all on his own by Hatcher. And N10 ploughs into him, and N10 with major damage there. And are we going to get a yellow flag? Let's see what the leaders are up to. No yellow flag as yet. I don't think one's been called, so maybe the race marshal didn't see that. Meanwhile, we've got Rick in the pits at the end of the first lap, but this is on board with Breaker. Oh! Breaker nearly off the road there. And he's obviously trying really hard. Behind him it's still Malada and Jezza in the remaining two RX-7s. It's also very close between Slicker and Scouser. This is Slicker's point of view. Oh! Oh, has a good look there into the hairpin. Doesn't make the move stick. Coming up to the Schumacher S. This is of course named after Michael Schumacher, not Ralph. No one would name a corner after Ralph Schumacher. And we'll go back on board with the leaders because it's kicking off here as they come up to the all-important bit curve, and Breaker round the outside, and it's Breaker in the lead. Let's go on his rear cam. Stunt's going up the inside through Hatzenbeck. Oh, and Stunt got it loose on the curbs there, and Breaker gets knocked deep into the gravel and drops down to 6th place. So, and in all the confusion, Malada's taken the lead, and we've got a car in the pits, and it looks like we're under yellow. So let's see what we can see from Malada's point of view. If I just swap to his roof cam and go back. So Malada in 3rd. We can see Stunt getting sideways on the curbs. Oh, and both the red and white cars off. Stunt with dirty tyres into the chicane, and Malada just straight through. But we've got yellows, and let's see who's in the pits. We've got Jezza, I think, in the pits, yeah. Scouser's not in the pits, neither is Slicker. Breaker in the pits. N10, here he comes into the pits, get that engine damage fixed. So we're going to fast forward now, because we don't need to see this so much. So this is still under yellows, but the field all closing up. Oh, someone trying to knock down the cones there. I think that was Scouser. So the rear view of Malada, and is he on for a race win here? We've got Breaker down in 6th place. That's Malada just warming his tyres up a bit. Breaker down in 6th place, so there's definitely an opportunity for someone else to win a race here. Stuntman second, Scouser and Slicker an excellent third and fourth, and Slicker started from 8th. So it just shows what can happen if you keep your nose clean. And we're under green and we're away. And it looks like Breaker's already on the attack. You can see him going around the outside of Jezza through the Schumacher S, and he's through. This is Slicker's point of view, looking back at Breaker. So Breaker already up to 5th. Through Kumo. You see a battle on between Rick and N10 at the back of the field. And everyone picking up the slipstream from the car in front. This is Malada's point of view, and here comes Stuntman. Stuntman to the outside, and he's not going to make the pass, but further back we can see Breaker has made a move, and Breaker now up to 4th. He's just gone past Slicker, and Stuntman's got the overlap coming out the chicane, and we're 2 abreast here. Stunt on the inside and Malada on the outside, but Malada holds it, and Stunt back to 2nd. We'll stay on board here. This is a great shot over the rear wing. Here comes the MRS in the slipstream. Malada defending, and Stunt's gone for the cutback, and Stuntman's in the lead, but he's on the outside, I think. Yeah, he's on the outside, so it's 2 abreast through the Mercedes arena. And it looks like Stuntman's gone all the way around the outside. Meanwhile, Scale has caught up with these guys, and there's 4 cars in about 2.5 car lengths there. Going to need some tidy driving to sort this one out, and and they've all done that. Ooh, Breaker a bit sideways. So Stunt leads from Malada, and we've got another yellow. What's gone on here? I think we need to rewind, and we'll have a look at it. Slicker's dropped to the back, so we'll rewind to the start-finish straight and see what happens to Slicker. Here we go, we're on board with Slicker. Just braking late, tail slide on the power. Oh, and he just lit up the rears and spun, and was collected by Jezza, I think. Yeah, Jezza with major damage. So Jezza completely innocent in that one, and we have a yellow flag. So we'll undoubtedly see Jezza and Slicker in the pits at the end of that. So I'm going to fast forward. Whoa. Yeah, I'll definitely fast forward if all that's cracking off. So still the 8 cars in the race. We lost Hatcher early on after his problems in the early laps. I bet he wished he'd stayed, because with these yellow flags he'd definitely have had a good chance in this race. So it's Stunt from Malada, from Scouser, from Breaker in 4th, then N10, Rick, Jezza and Slicker. And holding a steady 50-ish miles an hour. And there we go, green. And it's a good start from Stunt. The guy who's slow away is Scouser, and we can see he's neck and neck with Scale Breaker, but Breaker backs out of that one. So it's Breaker and N10 we're looking at from the back of Scouser in 3rd. Great run from Scouser, this 3rd place. Ooh, and but he's under a lot of pressure here. They're everywhere, they're all over him. And it's side by side, and Breaker I think is getting a slipstream from Malada, which is moving him ahead, but now they're 3 abreast. Let's go to the outside view. You can't get through this chicane, and they all drive sensibly through there. That's good to see. So everyone's sorting themselves out, and it's Breaker up to 3rd from Scouser, N10 5th, Jezza 6th, then Rick and Slicker. And the first 2 breaking away. This is where the action is for 3rd place at the moment. And Rick and Slicker battling this one out. Let's go on board that one. Here we go. This is Slicker into the first turn. Rick's gone very wide there, and Slicker moves up a place. Meanwhile, on board with Scouser. Now, can he latch onto the tail of Scalebreaker and get the toe round the lap? Doesn't look like it. So Breaker is shooting off to catch the two leaders. Meanwhile, on board with Jezza, chasing N10. Oh, Jezza's made a bit of a mistake there. Look at his rear view. He's now coming under pressure from Slicker and Rick into the hairpin, and Jezza definitely under pressure. Also under pressure is Stuntman. Let's have a quick look at him. He's got Malada and Breaker closing in, and we're already on lap 6. It really flies when you have all these yellows, and we keep skipping lumps of the track out. Stuntman getting a good run through bit curve there, but Malada is under a lot of pressure from Breaker, and we know how good Breaker is on the brakes. Is he going to try anything here? No, he's just too far back, and Stunt a little slow through the chicane. These three pulling clear. And then we've got another battle behind. This is on board with Scouser. So Scouser, N10 and Jezza, who's pulled away from Rick and Slicker. In fact, what's happened to Slicker? He's dropped right off the back. So go to the outside view and rewind. See if we can work out what happened to him. Battling hard with Rick here as they battle for 7th place. Side by side, the two of them, as they come up to the Vidal chicane. And oh, he's just braked a bit late and gone straight on. And oh, that's a little embarrassing. Didn't take anyone out though. But he's dropped right off the back of the pack now. Meanwhile, on board with the leaders, and Stuntman is towing Malada and Scalebreaker down the start-finish straight, and it's Malada on the inside as they go 3 abreast into turn 1. Now they're 3 abreast in a slightly different order, and it's Stuntman. Oh, but he didn't see Breaker there on the outside, so Stuntman eased Breaker off, and he's just slowing down a little bit to allow Breaker to take the lead. And that means Malada is now on the attack. Very, very close racing between these three. They've raced close in other races too in this series, showing each other plenty of respect, but still racing hard. Meanwhile, this battle is still on for 4th, 5th and 6th. It's N10 from Scouser, so N10 up to 4th. And that's really important for him in the championship, because he needs to keep Malada in sight. Because it's very, very close between those two, 4th, 3rd and 4th in the championship. So behind them we've got Rick just dropping off the back of the pack in 7th, and then Slicker some way back in 8th. We're going to go on board with the leaders though, and this is Stunt closing up on the straight, but not close enough to make a move into the Vidal chicane. And the first 3 still in order. Meanwhile, the next 3 still very, very close together. N10 from Scouser and Jezza's trying to make a move around the outside. Oh, and we got a spinner. That's Stuntman. Oh, we've got to watch and see what happened there. So we go back and let's take the onboard shot with Stuntman. Here we go. So following Scalebreaker into the chicane for the penultimate time. and dropping back a little bit from Breaker. Through the final corner, we see Breaker going wide. Stunt does the same thing, but Stunt spins and he tries to go and ends up turning the car on the barrier and down to 6th place from 2nd. And here comes another one, I think. There goes Rick. So it's all gone horribly wrong for Stuntman. We're going to go back on board with that battle for the 5th, 6th, and that's Jezza just getting into N10. But he's got past Scout. No, he hasn't got past Scout, so those Scouts are still on the inside. So we're right on board with this. Breaker is just easing away in front from Malada. Those two well clear of this battle, which is now for 3rd place and a place on the rostrum. And can Jezza make a move against those two Celikas? Meanwhile, that's N10 getting it really sideways through. Is that Castrol there? And coming under big threat now from Scouser. This is Stuntman's view. He's all over Rick now. He's caught Rick, and he's after that 1 place back again. And Stunt all over Rick. Whoa. Took a bit much curb there, threw himself sideways, and Rick gets a bit of breathing space. So we'll go back on board with that 3rd place battle, and we're on board Scout, so we just had a thump from behind. That will be Jezza. And what sort of exit's he getting? Oh dear, he's off! And this is Jezza's view of that. So Jezza inherits that 4th place, and Scouts are down to 5th, and that looks like it's all settled. So we'll go on board now with Stunt and Rick, and Stunt's on the outside, late on the brakes, side by side through the Vino chicane. Oh, and they've come together there, and it's a spin for Rick. Oh dear, and we have Breaker. When the shot changed, there he is. Breaker takes 1st place from Malada 2nd, N10 3rd, then Jezza and Scouser 4th and 5th, Stuntman 6th, Rick is going to come home 7th, and Slicker, after a disappointing race for him, which looked good for a while, in 8th. So we'll have a look at the race timings, and what does that show us? It shows us a fastest lap for Breaker of 204.3. No one else in the 204s, no one else in the 205s. That's the margin of Breaker's dominance in this. 2nd fastest lap, 206.0 to Malada, and then a 206.1 to Stuntman. Right, well that win for Breaker seals the championship for him, so congratulations to Breaker. He can't be beaten now, but 2nd for Malada and 3rd for N10 means it's almost a straight fight between those two in the final round, round 12, which I shall be bringing you later this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed making it. I enjoyed most of that race till I spun near the end there, and please tune in again for round 12.